there it is. There's the new BougeRV 23 quart 12 volt refrigerator. Brand spanking new. Nice and clean in there. Came with all the usual attachments. Cord for plugging into 120 volt wall socket. And a connector for a 12 volt. There's just one problem. The machine doesn't work. You can hear the engine running, you can hear the compressor going, and it's vibrating, so I know that the compressor is working, but it doesn't cool down. Not at all. So apparently it has leaked out all the coolant and it's never going to work. So I contacted BougeRV and they're going to replace it. It's going to take about a week to get here. It has to come from the West Coast. Now, they didn't say anything about returning this one, so I guess I'm just going to keep it, but it doesn't work. Now, if there's a leak and the coolant leaks out, I mean, it may be something I could get fixed. I may be able to take it to a refrigerator repair place around, and they may be able to repair it inexpensively. Just find the leak, fix the leak, and refill it with that coolant. So it might be a cheap fix, and then I will have a working backup that I might keep up at the camp. Greetings, Voyagers. Well, in my never-ending quest to make use of every possible space that I can in the van, I have tackled this Netherland back here. It's just been a collector of junk and stuff and miscellaneous items, but I need to use that space because it's there. So I've decided that that's going to be where I'm going to put the battery. My GoLab battery, which will power the refrigerator, which is going to go right there on that platform. And then I'm going to snake the charging cord under the driver's seat, and then I'm going to use that rubber shielding stuff that you can get at Home Depot. You use it if you need to run an extension cord across a doorway. It's like a rubber kind of a hump, and on the bottom side it's slotted so you can push a power cord into it, and then you can lay that flat on the floor, and then people will step on the rubber protector instead of tripping on the wire. And then I'll just put little cable connectors I can secure to the dash and up to the power plug like that. So that'll take care of that. So here's what I devised. Now see, we got two different levels. We got this horrible metal floor here, which I don't want to put my battery pack on. I don't want it bouncing up and down on that. Then we got about an inch of space to there. So here's what I did. And then I had to work around this too, because this takes up about, I mean, from right there in this little well here, this thing sticks up about, up to my first knuckle. So it's not a flat, even surface all the way across there. But this is what I came up with. There's one 1/2 inch piece of insulation. There's two 1/2 inch pieces of insulation. And there's a floor that's going to go right in there. Now, I bought these, they call them mending plates, I mean, to me, they look more like flat bars, but they call them plates. These are mending plates, and I have I'm going to put 3 of them in there like that. That'll keep these 2 boards held together tight, and it won't be slipping up and down. And so that'll take care of that. And I gained a little more insulation in the floor. Woo! So that's where that battery is going to go. Now, it's going to need 2 inches of airspace on each side for ventilation because the vent holes are on the sides. So I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to fit this thing in here right now. I might have to take these screw eyes out too, so it doesn't bang up against it. And I don't really want it rubbing right up against it. I may have to turn it. I may have to turn it that way, but that makes it awkward to get in there. I don't know. We'll see. At any rate, I'm going to have to find a way to keep it from slamming up against there. I'll put in a little piece of insulation under it to act as a cushion, and I might have to put a little spacer down in here, a little space bar of some kind to keep it from sliding up against the partition. But we'll see. But for now, I just need to get that done. So I'll get back to you. Well, all right, there we go. I bought 3 of these plates, mending plates, but I only needed 2. That sucker is down there really strong. That is rigid. It's not going anywhere. Now, the battery fit. That's a different matter. Remember, I have to leave 2 inches of airspace on each side for ventilation. So, if I put that thing right there and give me my 2 inches, it's bumping right up against the seat. And I think that's dangerous because I could be sliding that seat back. It might hit a little hard, and I don't want to damage that thing. So, and I have to have access to the panel, so that panel has to face out. So the only way I can do this, and I need to keep it in that space, that gives it close proximity to the power source and the refrigerator that's going to be right there. So my solution is turn it diagonal just enough. I have it taped off. I'll show you in a second. I had to build a little tray for this, and I'm not quite done with it. But that's where the corner of the tray is going to sit. So this is going to sit right there, and then there's just enough room to clear it from the seat. In fact, I can scooch that back a little bit. Now it doesn't bump up against the seat. I can stick my finger in there. And I still have access to the panel. It's not facing front, which would be more convenient. But you got to make do with what you have. I can get in there. That's not a problem. There's my 2 120 outlets. 1, 2 there. I can still get in there. So, and I didn't want to just leave it. I didn't want to just have it sitting right there. I need something to cradle it so it won't get tossed around. So I made a tray. I had a lot of scrap pieces of the 1/2 inch plywood. So that will sit right in there. And it just fits so snug. That is cool. So I'm going to shellac this tray just for appearance's sake. And I'm going to screw it down to this panel and that floor panel. So we'll move around and that'll be that. Oh my God, people, look at this. It's actually starting to look like a fully functional van with people living in it, with creature comforts, a refrigerator. Now this is the broken one. They are sending me a replacement. It's in transit. Rolls right up. And rolls right back in again. And these two little bungee cords are sufficient to hold it in place. Nice. Now, what I have over here is if I push that right up against the side, now all the cooling vents are open. They're not blocked in any way. Even over here, see, it's not blocking anything, so, and that's critical. You have to have those vent spaces. You have to give them at least 2 inches of airspace around them, and I have exactly 2 inches right here. So what do you think I should do with that space? I'll tell you what I'm going to try to do. 2 inches is conveniently 4 thicknesses of this insulation, which I still have plenty of. So I'm thinking I'm going to try and fit 2 inches of insulation from here back, because this is obviously I can't block these ventilation, and this doesn't need insulation anyway. The box that holds the food starts right here and goes back. So I'm going to see if I can cut 4 pieces of that insulation and squeeze it right in there, and then I'll have insulation on the bottom and on the side, and I'll put something on the top, maybe blankets or something. It'll only be this front, this side panel over here that won't have extra insulation. So, but still, every little bit helps, you know. You try to use as little electricity. We're off grid, totally off grid. This is going to be the device that runs that refrigerator, so we want to make sure that it's using as little electricity as possible. And having it well insulated will go a long way to doing that. Marijuana, cannabis, sativa.